In today's video, we're talking about something that creeps up on most of us older people, and it's that moment that you realize you got way too much stuff. So whether you're, downsizing or, going to a smaller house, maybe to an RV like I did, or maybe you just want to clear a pathway through the garage to get rid of all those mountains if I'm going to do that someday. Whatever it is, um, as when you get ready to retire, it adds a lot of pressure, right? Because now you got to get that done. What are you going to do with all this stuff? So for me, it was a lot. Okay, I never planned to be a minimalist. That just wasn't even something I would have thought about. In fact, if you would have seen my house years ago, or the last one even, it looked like somebody was planning a garage sale that never happened, right? So we had a lot of stuff. Maybe not even as much as some people, but it was a lot. So maybe it's hereditary. I don't know. Like my grandparents were pretty much hoarders, but more about that later. Like most people, I spent decades accumulating stuff. Every time you move, you get a bigger house. Of course, you got to add to the pile and get more stuff because you need stuff, right? You need more stuff. Always need more stuff. Consumerism at its best, I suppose. Uh, but yeah, I even had the junk drawer like everybody else. I don't think I could have just put one more thing in that drawer. So like if you do want to look through it, you know the problem. You got to take everything out. So like it's just way too much stuff is the point. So it's always the reason that I might need that someday or I'm going to use it one day. You never know. Don't use confirmation bias if you do need something. See, that's why I need to keep it because that's happened too. How about reverse confirmation bias where we see how many times did I not use it and therefore let's justify getting rid of it. That would probably make a lot more sense. But now time for the bigger decision. So once we decided I'm retiring, great. Now what? Are we going to sell the house? Or looking at each other thinking, oh man, I mean, there's ups and downs with the market as always, but are we going to wait? What if I wait until I need to move to the Philippines and you have to sell? Well, you're going to be at the mercy of whatever the market is then. So what we do know is, it's a couple years out. Let's sell it now. Market's high. The predictions aren't very good, right? So it would, anyway, so we decided we're looking at each other and thinking, okay, but where are we going to live? So it doesn't make sense to rent an apartment, obviously, because that would defeat the whole purpose. Might as well keep the house. So my wife's the one that said, and I can't believe it, she said, well, what about the trailer? I mean, we already have it. Why not just live in there? We already got the campground membership. I mean, it's a good idea. Don't get me wrong. There's a big difference between loving your trailer and going camping and living in it. Big difference, huge difference. So, and I always trying to make her have it easier for me than for her because, it just is. We won't get into all that, but it just is. So, I'm asking her, are you serious? Are you joking right now? Because I'm ready. I'm ready to go. We live in it. And, she's so supportive. Yeah, she's like, yeah, let's do it. Here's the problem. We're going to go from a 1,500 square foot house full of stuff to, I don't know, 150 to 200 square foot trailer. If that, there's no way it's even 200 square feet. We both got things we love, right? And for me, it was the tools. Like I had a whole workshop full of tools, and that wasn't easy. So letting go of that was probably my biggest challenge. All right, let me tell you that experience about selling those tools because, when you get to this point, you're going to love it. I mean, people, you post, tools, you put them on either Craigslist, OfferUp, or in a lot of cases, Marketplace. In fact, I didn't even have a Facebook account. I don't have one now. I created one just so I could sell stuff. We had so much stuff. Anyway, um, most people lowball like it's some kind of sport. You list something for $100 and they'll offer you 15, 10, whatever. Just ridiculous. Like you can't get, and this is good stuff. Like the tools. I mean, I have this DeWalt chop saw, for example. I mean, it's ridiculous what people do. Other people see something like that and they'll just come buy it right away. So I got a couple people coming out, playing that game. And then this other guy, Jeff, after I listed a couple things, he came out and he bought some stuff. And I listed more stuff because I wasn't ready. Like, this is in phases over months. Like, I got to clean stuff out and organize it, get it ready to sell. And so I was doing that. And he came a second time and, hey, I remember you, kind of thing. Great. He bought stuff. He never even tried to reduce the price. How much you want? He'll just give it to you. Very fair guy. So the third time happened again. He comes out, and I'm just so amazed that anyone just is like this. That's just going to give you the fair price. I almost kind of felt guilty because I was kind of expecting a reduction. So he comes out, we load up his truck, and I say, hey, what about this? You want this? Because I kind of get in the theme for the stuff he's looking for. How about this pressure washer? You want something like that? Oh yeah, but I don't have the money for that. And so, he told me the story how, he didn't have a job at that time, and he had some little income side jobs that he was doing. I kind of felt bad for him, and just his generosity was so great. I wanted to help him out. I go, no, you can have it. He goes, what, really? No, I mean, I'm not comfortable. I want to pay you. And just went back and forth. Jesus, dude, you're helping me out. I'm trying to move. And I told him the story. We're moving and all that, and trying to go to the Philippines, and, the whole plan. Anyway, so he says, okay, well, if you got to get rid of it. And so he takes it. And I go, how about this? And how about that? And I just started piling stuff in there because I'm like done with these people and their garbage, their BS tactics. And I just want to be done. And this guy is so nice. And so I'm just not used to that. Right. So anyway, in fact, I'll say this. This isn't nice maybe, but I got friends that wouldn't help me as much as this guy. So one day, the Ring camera goes off, like motion detected alert. My wife and I look out there, and who's out there? Oh, Jeff and his kid. You know what they're doing? They're raking my leaves. This was like a third of an acre size yard, and on a hill, and they're out there just raking. Like, I don't know if he wasn't going to tell me or what. He finished up. The yard looks beautiful, and then he's gone. Like, wow. Like, I got friends that wouldn't help me do simple stuff. But this guy did. And then one day he knew I had stuff to throw away. He just randomly stops by, loads it in the trailer. I'm trying to give him money for it, and he refuses to accept it. Like, it was just crazy. That kind of kindness is so rare. Like, you got a friend or two like that. That's all you need in life. I'm just telling you. So, yeah, it's just funny how life works, isn't it? Like, your friends, you expect to be there, and they're not, nowhere to be found, unless they need something. So anyway, I kind of just screen my calls, if you know what I mean now. All right, circling back to my grandfather. Um, first of all, I want to say I'm not criticizing because, he lived through the Depression. Um, and they had a tough life. They didn't always have a lot to do, but they lived in a time where you just didn't throw things away, right? It's just different now. Things are a lot more disposable now, aren't they? So anyway, he had this pole barn, right? This thing was huge. I mean, he has had a big house too, but got this pole barn. This is towards the end, as he's getting older, he needs help moving stuff and organizing, if you could call it that. So he asked me and my uncle to help him out. So we go over there, and I swear, all we did was like move stuff. I don't even know what we're doing half the time, but he would never let us like work on our independently, right? He was always just hovering over us like you would if it was Fort Knox. Like, he just was guarded of his stuff. Wanted to make sure we didn't take anything or throw anything away was probably the biggest fear. But he had like just mountains of like brand new fishing stuff, even like still in the packages. He had canned goods and food stored everywhere, which, by the way, most of it got rusty, and like I don't know, it was just weird. But so when he passed, um, I don't know, let me back up. So here's the thing. He loved that stuff, but like, he would never show up for a birthday. Like, he never gave me gifts or anything. And I'm not faulting him for that, but it was just weird how he valued that stuff more. He was just a distant person, I guess. And I could go on with all kind of other stories, but I want to stay focused here. So when he passed, this is what stuck with me. These family members of mine, which I don't even talk to them really anymore, they were like vultures, right? Just swarming in. And I didn't want to have nothing to do with it. I said, "Do you need help or something? Because I got a truck. I'll help, but I don't want anything. I don't need anything." And they never called me again. They were just hauling stuff out of there, selling stuff. Pretty disgusting, actually, when I think about it. But um, it was like those old Western movies where the cowboy gets shot, and before he even hits the ground, they're like pulling his boots off. If my grandpa saw that, what happened to his stuff, basically desecrated his little temple inside his garage. I mean, he'd probably be rolling over in his grave, right? So that is not what he had planned for that stuff, I'm sure. But that's because he had the wrong focus. Way too much focus on that crap and his stuff, and spent so much time worrying about it, managing it, moving it around, having us help move stuff around for what? Anyway, so he's got this lifetime of stuff that now is just dispersed. And that just stuck with me, that I don't want to be like that. More into like the relationships, and, focus on what's important in life to you. Not so much stuff. Because you don't realize how much stress that stuff causes you. I was saying, stuff outlives its purpose. It had even outlived us in the case of my grandpa. So don't put all your energy into stuff. Now, I get it. Like, I got this thing with the tools, but, it's okay. Like I was saying, I do miss the tools, I'm not going to lie, but that's just because I like to work with my hands. And, I ended up getting a few more little tools, right? Thank God for Harbor Freight, but we won't have that in the Philippines. But they got something even better. But I don't want to get off topic here too much. What happens, though, is it does get easier. I don't miss so much stuff. And now I kind of like getting rid of stuff. I like giving stuff to people who need it if I'm not using it. Right? If I use it, that's different. But man, we got so much stuff everywhere. Half the stuff you even forget you have. But watching Grandpa and that whole thing, and the kindness of a complete stranger, Jeff, man, that's how I want to be, more like him, right? If there's, because I do have a crabby old man side that I want to, work on, soften. I've done that as the stress goes away. Focus on what's important, and that's really it. So I'm not judging anybody, really not. We all at different stages in life, and that's just where I'm at now. I'm just seeing it for what it is. I'm not a minimalist, but I am working that direction. And what I've learned is the stuff is just stuff. It's replaceable, forgettable. Like, if you don't see it in a while, you forget it anyway. But the other memories, those can stick with you. So that's really it. And it's not as important as your health and your peace and the relationships, and just the freedom. Sorry, there's some bugs out here. Just the freedom, not having all this stuff, it makes you feel. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. In today's video, we're going to be talking about, what are we going to be talking about? Good God. Oh man, that sucks getting older. Okay, cut. Can outlive its, sorry about the, oh man, of course they're gonna fly by. All right, anyway, give it a second. Okay, yeah, don't interrupt an old man. I'm gonna forget where I'm at. Anyway, what I was saying,